It has a sphinx, a pyramid, some championship trees, and some of Cincinnati's most famous names.
You can learn many of the legends of Spring Grove Cemetery in a new book. Local 12 News anchor Sheila Gray takes us on a tour.
Some of the most famous people in Cincinnati, heck, maybe even in the world, are right here in Spring Grove Cemetery. You wouldn't be able to experience their fascinating stories without a little bit of help.
In the Grove, there's over 220,000 because everybody has a story.
Spring Grove historian Phil Nuxhall researched more than 1,000 of them.
This time I wanted to focus on people, their stories, and their lives.
Nuxhall just released his new book, Stories in the Grove.
Bob Braun is here. We got a fun story about when I was on Bob Braun bandstand when I was a teenager. The Cool Ghoul is here. Remember him?
Inventors.
Business people, inventors, the person who invented the first refrigerated produce truck, Stephen Girard.
Girard's one of many in the Grove whose lives were highlighted by firsts.
The first female band conductor is buried here in Spring Grove.
No.
Right there, Helen May Butler Young. Also considered the first female to lead an orchestra. And she went on to much fame, so much so that they referred to her as the female Sousa.
And names you might not recognize.
Her real name was Chunky Singleton.
So named for her chunky cheeks.
She sadly died at age 4 of scarlet fever. She's got her umbrella, and I tend to believe that when it rains behind our backs, she opens that umbrella for protection. I love Chunky.
Nuxhall is a household name in Cincinnati. Phil made a name for himself as Spring Grove's historian and chief preservationist. His first book, Beauty in the Grove, detailed the landmark cemetery's architecture, art, and landscape.
Adolf Strauch was the master landscaper. He's the person who got rid of all the lot fencing, all of the clutter, so that when you come here today, I mean, don't you feel like you're in a beautiful park?
Yes.
That was the plan.
One of the most famous stories in the Grove, though, is about a legend who left.
He was a visitor. That was George Reeves, who played Superman on TV.
Reeves' mother sent his remains to Spring Grove because her parents are there, but the plot's not big enough for the mausoleum she wanted.
Then she decided to have him cremated. He was cremated in the Hillside Chapel here in Cincinnati, and the ashes were sent back to Hollywood.
Why did you want to do this? Get this down.
Legacy,
Yeah.
preservation, because if we don't do this, we lose this history.
Sheila Gray, Local 12 News.